Hi, I'm Wendelin Gray, and today I'm going to do a reading of my character names. It's a little bit dull, so I've dressed up specially to make it a little bit more interesting, and I'm going to be going over some of the linguistic origins of the names that I've chosen for some of my characters. I'm not going to do all of them, but the vast majority that are major characters I'm going to try to get through, because I've noticed that my readers, whenever I meet them in person, are struggling to try to pronounce their names. So it's a little bit of interest for people beyond that who have not read the books. You can at least see where I'm getting the inspiration, and I'll give you a little information about the characters themselves too while I do it. So I'm going to be going over 5 of my books, and I have little prompts, little note cards, so you can see how they're written as well, and you can match the pronunciation with the name in the book. So first of all, I'm going to start with The Haunting at Ice Pine Peak, and this book is my ghost story that I won a couple of awards for. So one of the major characters is Chunlingmen, who is the king, and his name is very obviously Sucking Lemons. And I chose that a little bit with tongue-in-cheek because I had originally wanted to write the story a little bit more satirically, but I decided on a more serious, straight-up horror novel. And I originally was taking the idea of that from the phrasing in Chinese of Chiku, which is somebody who suffers a lot. And Shinlingmeng certainly does suffer a lot in the story. It's not funny in the version that I ultimately wrote, but the original idea was there, and I just liked the name of the character at that point, so I thought, yeah, I'm just going to keep it, even if it's a little bit goofy. Our major villain in the piece is Hurin, and her name in Korean actually does mean blurry, muddy, or somehow out of focus, and certainly the characters can't quite get a fix on her whenever they're under her spell. And then her adversary is the beautiful ghost Kum Ang, who is the golden nightingale, quite literally in Korean. So my other major villain is Kimon, and in Japanese his name literally means demon gate. Apparently there was a direction that you should not go in through because of just ideas about directions and about what sorts of where evil resides, I guess maybe. And my other hero is Azuma, and if this is from the Japanese, I don't have a particular written out version of it that has a particular meaning that I like, so I just like the name. Now, I have a few characters in the story who have Cantonese pronunciations, and Lim Tam is one of them. Couldn't find his characters fast enough to put them on here for the project, but it does mean scream in Chinese. Now, since the story is inspired by the Old Silk Road, and of course Alexander the Great had run through the region, and there was a lot of Greek influence going very far deep into China, I chose some of my characters with Greek names. So Peitho is a major character, one of my 13-year-old servants in it, and her name certainly reflects that, and her twin sister is Lysippe. So they should sound like that kind of inspiration. And one of my other bad guys is Yao Ming, and his name literally means wanting to kill or murder. So he sort of ends up becoming the personification of murder. Another character that uses the Cantonese style pronunciation of the characters is Sek Kim, and his wife is Yanga, which is standard Mandarin pronunciation. My evil princess is Ningla, and her name literally means lemon spicy. I thought that was kind of fun, even though she's a lot more evil than that. And my main princess is Bing Song, and she echoes the whole motif of in the name of the mountain where they are, Bing Song meaning iced pine tree. And her faithful retainer, servant, and friend is Wendan. And there's a couple ways that I could have written this. I could have made her the little peony, but I chose to make her the wilted peony because she's all upset about losing her fiancé, at least some of the time, and his name is Zhijian, which means straight arrow. I wanted to really play him straight and have a very good, solid anchor character. Now, this character's name really seems to be particularly difficult. I really am kind of surprised by that, but her name is Lao, and it literally refers to pomegranate. And Kazashi is my businesswoman, and another fun character, is a minor character, and her husband is Sho, who's one of the military men in the story. And my evil queen is Oseiji, and her name means flattery in Japanese. Sibirishi is my guru in the story, I guess you could call him, and I just sort of made up the name, but you can tell, at least I can tell, whenever I wrote this, that I had watched a number of movies from India on the film programming committee for Silkscreen whenever I was working with them, and they had a Tragic Guru movie particularly that I liked, but I guess that's where I got that from, the inspiration, and my queen of the next province is named Jaffna. And finally, the leader of the temple in the historical era of this book is Kisu, Korean. Now moving on, I'm going to go to Komori and the Lucky Cat, my first volume in the Lucky Cat series, and my main character's name is Komori Ando, and her name literally means cloudy, which I felt was really appropriate because a character named Cloudy really needs a lucky cat. So certainly not exactly played for laughs, but I always have a little bit of satire in mind whenever I write some of these. And her boyfriend is Chenwei, at least for part of the piece, and there is, a gag about Chenwei, who he really is in the story. And her brother's name is Sumori Ando. His name, I believe, means constant, or something along those lines. I should have written that down before I did this. And then Chenwei ends up being Wu Shin Kim for part of the story as well. He's got a lot of aliases, got lots of people undercover. And another associate is Mugen Ashikaga. First name meaning attorney in Japanese. Dmitry Soloviev is a little bit made up. I'm not sure if there really is that last name, but I just like the sound of it, and it sounded good in Russian. And Yarek Markov is one of my minor characters, but the Markovs are one of my main families in this story, in the whole series. More minor than not. And Archaea Yamamoto, Akio Yamamoto, I'll get this right myself, is a major character in book 2, but he does come up as an important figure in Komori's family history, but since we're just introduced to them in book 1, I decided to add them here. So her grandmother's name is Yuki Hagiwara, and of course her name means snow. And her sister, Aunt Suna, whose cat statue is the center of the story, is Suna Hagiwara, meaning sand. Their daughter, Komori's mother, is Chika Hagiwara, and her first name is the Thousand Flowers, or the Millefleur, which was an important design in medieval European tapestries, I believe it was. Dorio Ando is Komori's father, and we're going to go to Lucky Cat and the Snow Maiden's Vengeance, which is volume 2. And many of those characters that I just went over will show up in that as well, but there's some new ones that I want to go over. And the first one will be Qaddafi Kobayashi, who is my operative that goes in search of what happened to Yuki. Asami Murakami is a very important figure in book 2. She's technically a prison guard, and you find out in book 2 what the Lucky Cat, the red Lucky Cat statue's real name is. Her personal name is Shamalandra, and I wanted something that seemed very, very weighty, but also kind of childlike. I thought it was a fun name. And the big villain in volumes 2 and 3 is Hansu Singh, and she becomes the Big Brother figure. I decided to really do a twist on Big Brother that is not the way most people think of Orwell. And another major figure is Trokin Shulga, and the Shulga family is another major family in addition to the Hagiwaras and the Sais. We'll get to the Sais shortly. His father's name is Gleb Shulga, and he is one of the major generals who is the right-hand man of Hansu Singh. And Valentin Sakai is one of their operatives that becomes very important in book 2. And then I have Yevgenia Markov, because the Markovs are always in the background doing something with the sleep clinics. Another minor character is Anban Singh, and that is somebody I'm not going to tell you who it is. You have to read the books. And I've got some more cats, Kyako, and I can tell you that I got this name specifically from an article, and this is kind of funny, an article on the Fukushima reactor disaster, and there was, I believe, an elderly man who was looking for his birds or something, and his bird's name was Jacko, and I thought, that's a really good name. And did I miss one of them? Well, the other cat, more than one cat, I missed my other cat. No, I'll get it out now. I probably should wait. The other cat in this one is named Kiku, which is chrysanthemum. And then I've got Itoshi, which means beloved. Actually, it's not really a name, it's sort of like a title, and that'll become clear whenever you read book 2, why I have that. And another minor character is Reina Hirano in volume 2. So moving on to volume 3, we've got Lucky Cat and the Gods of War is my volume 3 that I just completed. And one of the major characters in the next family, I have like 4 or 5 families, the bloodlines that I follow in these novels, and that would be Jenyan Sai. So literally his name is referencing someone who's a witness and who is sort of vigilant maybe. And Shiren Sai is his son and also a major important figure in the founding of the movement. And his wife's name is Sishan Sai, her maiden wand. Now another character that I'm going to leave mysterious is Lucasia Dolphy, and hopefully that will be rather exciting to find out who she is. And there's a number of other minor characters that I felt their names were familiar enough that I didn't want to put them in here because they're more westernized, they're French names, so it shouldn't be as difficult for American readers to be able to try to pronounce them or at least get a decent approximation. So another character is Milosh Jo and Aunt Leoline Archambault, which is an alias because we have lots of aliases, and I'm not going to tell you who that is. And another character, Océane, going totally French with some of this, which I think is very popular in Japan anyway, because I see that a lot in their anime. And another very minor character, Aifyathing. So that'll close out my Lucky Cat series for now, and then I'm going to finish up with my characters for Sohyun After Midnight. And these characters are Korean in origin, a lot of them, and that Sohyun Choi is the main character. His sister is, older sister is Mireille Choi, and his younger sister is Sukjin Choi. I'm not sure, I think some of them I've actually taken as real names and some of them I've made up. So Jangsoon Choi is his father, and some place names that I did want to bring up. And I forgot to make the character, the card up for one of the other names, so I'll have to do that in a future video. Okmisoon is the one of the alternate worlds, as is Habu. Be a little bit of the Korean there. And Minha is the High Priestess. Mapin is the pigeon, one of the major pigeon characters. He does not stay a pigeon very much. Juria is the queen. And her brother, Birum, whom she's fighting with, is not particularly, neither one of those are particularly Korean, or even any East Asian influence. Lit is just a generic name I picked out of the sky here. Hamnin, another that I just sort of pulled out of the air. Found it interesting, little twist on things that I've heard. Kirinda is another major character, a child actually. Ognen Baram, I believe is how that's pronounced. It's a bit exotic, and I wanted to really go even more exotic than I already have been for one of my major characters in the real world in that story. Zuruai is actually Japanese, but I didn't look this one up because he's so minor. He's probably not important anymore. What the reason was I picked it. Nominus, I just wanted something that sounded Latin and old, because I'm taking some inspiration for the backstory with Sohyun from the ancient Greco-Roman world, Babylon, ancient Sumer Babylon, and a little bit of Egypt, so I thought it was kind of fun to have that weighty feel to some of the characters. So Oksu is an important historical character in the novel, and another sort of minor character is Kargal. So hopefully that ends my little listing here for now, but hopefully that will help my readers have an easier time talking about characters and getting an idea of how to pronounce them a little bit more accurately. So thank you, and look for more of my videos because I'll be doing some readings as well.